Louie, the man who murdered the capitalist, was just arrested when he immediately addressed the world's media.
I will give $100 million to whoever gets me out of here. $100 million!
And with just 2 simple sentences, he made the SWAT team realize the gravity of the situation. However, since it was a live broadcast, criminals across the country heard it and immediately made a mad decision. On the day Louie was being escorted, all SWAT officers were on high alert. As long as they safely delivered him to the federal prison, Louie was sure to spend the rest of his life behind bars. But they didn't expect what happened next. As the plane gradually lost control, Louie began to show a long-lost smile. The pilot, however, claimed that one engine was still functioning and could keep the plane airborne. Suddenly, the second engine was completely destroyed, and the pilot could only wait for death to arrive. Realizing that air transport was no longer viable, the SWAT team had no choice but to use all available manpower and switch to a land escort. But when they reached an intersection, a homeless man suddenly blocked their path. This infuriated the police, who quickly tried to drive the homeless man away. Just then, a semi-truck crashed into their convoy, scattering them. Inside the truck were a group of heavily armed criminals, and this was only part of the money-driven chaos. In the end, through the criminals' relentless efforts, they managed to reach the prison transport vehicle holding Louie. But what they didn't expect was that Louie had been replaced by a fake statue. It turned out that the police had carried out a deceptive maneuver, and the real Louie was being secretly transported through a passage beneath them. During the journey, Louie asked if their monthly salary was over $3,000.
Not even with overtime.
Then raised the stakes, offering a $200 million bonus, with each of the 3 SWAT officers receiving $66 million. Just as they were resisting the temptation of such a huge sum, the driver suddenly stopped the vehicle and pointed a gun at their heads. At that moment, another team member joined in the rescue effort. By now, it was too late to resist, and the officer could only watch as Louie was taken away by his teammate. When the SWAT team arrived, they found that Louie and his rescuers had already boarded the subway to their next destination. This immediately fueled the SWAT team's competitive spirit. Armed with a large team of fully equipped officers, they surrounded the subway station at the next stop. However, when they approached, they found that the enormous subway had mysteriously vanished. They rushed back along the route, only to discover that the subway had stopped running, leaving behind a terrified subway driver. After questioning him, they learned that the traitor had led Louie into the sewers. The SWAT team, risking the unknown, gave chase, but headquarters discovered that the sewer system within a 5-kilometer radius had over 6,000 exits. Meanwhile, the plane coming to pick up Louie arrived on time. To avoid capture by the SWAT team, the pilot chose to land on a 4-lane road that was only 10 meters wide. During the landing, any contact with objects could cause the plane to explode, and Louie was at great risk of being caught. But at the last moment, the plane miraculously landed safely. In the end, Louie boarded the rescue plane and successfully escaped with the criminals.